Hello, everybody. This is going to be a dry fire video for one-shot draws. I have a firearm as an empty chamber and an empty magwell. All of my magazines have snap point dummy rounds on top of JV training inserts. I am facing a safe direction. We are ready to dry fire. Today's video is about improving speed in one-shot draws. This is based on a conversation I had on Reddit last night. A gentleman posted a video of him saying it was a video of him drawing, him talking through the drills he's doing, and then him talking through some of the opportunities for improvement that he sees. Um, He's currently stuck at a time plateau, having an issue with the dot not appearing where he wants it to as he tries to beat that time plateau. And I had some thoughts. It's tough to type them out, and I figured I'd make a video. So, a few ideas. Number one, and someone tried to argue with me about this, and I didn't even respond. You need to be using big targets, like full size targets. I cut the delta zone off because I don't shoot deltas. But even if you can only get 2 or 3 yards away, like use full size targets to get faster. And then like because you need to learn the feeling. If a sub 1 second draw is your goal, you need to learn the feeling of a .9. This assumes that you know how to draw the gun, like that you've done this enough to kind of know like the process of how it works. And now you're just trying to get it faster. So, number one is use full size targets. Number two, set a very aggressive par time on a full size target. This is a .6. And the things that make that successful are one, my eyes have using these big targets with lots of information. I have trained them to pick one of these. Like for this target, if obviously I'm not drawing on this target, I would be focused on the gap in those pasters and not moving them off of that. The whole time one of his comments was that the gun is coming up off to the side. What I believe is happening there is it's eyes on target, drawing the gun, getting to here and saying, I bet the dot's going to come up to the right. Let me find it. And it's like, what you have done there is your eyes set the destination on the GPS for where the dot's going to go. You have a destination, destination, destination. Then you're going to change it and you're going to go to the dot. It's like, well, now you have removed the destination from the dot. So it's going to go to what's comfortable, which is going to be however your hands are situated. What you need to do is teach your eyes that we do not move off of that spot. There is no reason. It's either the dot is going to appear on that spot or I'm not going to see the dot. Like those are the options. And more often than not, you're going to see it. And if you practice enough, it will get to the point where that is the only option where every time the dot appears. Um, so, some ways to do that: big targets, lots of information, and you're learning how to pick the very specific bit of information that is important and leave everything else aside. Another thing, and that's regardless of the distance, like this can be done at 1 yard or 1 foot. Um, Another thing that I'm an advocate for, and this is a controversial, I haven't had enough people try this to be able to say like that it's a tried and true method, but turn the red dot off. If your goal is a 1 second draw, set the timer at .9. And I'm talking about, excuse my language, fucking draw the gun as hard as you can. It's like, I'll do it here. I'm going to draw with vigorous intensity. You hear me going, like, that's all I've got. And sit there and do that until you either drop the gun on the ground, until you're gonna have bad grips, you're gonna have the dot come out of alignment, all of those things, and just keep doing it. Another great way to and talk about the dot out of alignment. The next step of that, this is the part that I say is truly not tested. Turn the dot off. And then so then your eyes are here. Let me make sure that the dot's very dim on this one. I'll just turn it all the way down. And it's like, okay, like I'm gonna fucking draw the gun, and my only goal is did it beat the time? And then kind of an ancillary goal to that would be observing if my eyes came off of that spot and making sure that they know that like that letter A is where we're going. Like the grip on that one wasn't spectacular. Do it again. Like you don't sit there and beat yourself up over things like that. Like Steve Anderson would say, I love Steve Anderson. Everything I'm telling you is probably crumbs from Steve Anderson's tables. Just do it again. Just do it again. Judge when you get it right, take a note of it. When you get it wrong, holster the gun, do it again. And when you get it right, I prefer writing it down. Write down what went right, do it again every time it's right. Like, and then you eventually build a cookbook of how to recreate it on demand. So, kind of summation of that. Number one, use big targets, learn the feeling. Then you can increase the difficulty of the targets once you have achieved the limit of human function at 1 yard, which is, I don't know, zero point 0.4, zero point 0.5 seconds, somewhere in there, I would guess. Then go to 2 yards, and then go to 3 yards, and then go to 5 yards. And you may not have to achieve the limit of human function. Maybe your goal is 1 second. So you get to 0.9 at a yard. Then you get a zero point 0.9 with no dot. Then turn the dot up as bright as it'll go and fill the dot up with red blur. Then do that until every time it's just big red window on the letter A. Then slowly decrease the brightness where then you're getting a dot. Then go to 2 yards, 3 yards, 5 yards. Then you might start using little targets. Another thing that is kind of probably one of the more important parts, I should talk about this earlier, is we're not pulling the trigger in this because that's not important. Like to find the sites, this is from Refinement Repetition. Like these draw drills, the most important part is having the dot come into the letter A every time. It's not the trigger pull. You can, as Steve would say, treat yourself to a trigger pull off the clock. Like, say you do it and the dot's there and you click off around. Great. Like, there's no harm in that. But like this timer, I never used the function where it picks up the click on Dryfire because all that inspires you to do is this. And it's like, wow, I beat the time. Like, where'd the shot go? I don't know. I just beat the time. Like, okay, you don't want to be pulling. I think that's the most important distinction here is if I am telling you, don't care about where to turn the dot off, use the big targets, delay all this accuracy, don't pull the trigger on those. Like, you want trigger pull to be a, like, a function of seeing the dot in the acceptable zone. You don't want the trigger pull to be a function of time. So you build up this ability to draw the gun in point 0.6. So use 0.6. That's what I'm using here. You use that and you get to the point where the gun is at presentation. Then you get the ability to see the big red window at that time. Then you get the ability to find a small dot, like a regular sized dot in that time. Then you can start pulling the trigger. When the dot is there every time, I don't necessarily have a problem with you starting to pull the trigger, assuming the dot is there and you only pull the trigger when it is there. And at that point, like you can't try to beat a time with trigger pulls. You have to know you're going to beat the time, or you're not going against the time. You set this to 2 seconds, even though you know you have a sub 1 second draw. And so then it's maybe at a second, what 1-2 or 1-3, you're actually pulling the trigger. Um, but you don't feel rushed into a trigger pull. That's probably the key there. You don't want to rush yourself. You want to rush yourself into your hands moving. You want to rush yourself into getting the gun up. You want to rush yourself to getting the dot on the letter A. And then you just want the trigger pull to happen after all of those things have been rushed. Then it's like, all right, I've done all these things. I'm going to go on vacation and pull the trigger. So there's 10 minutes of this. To summarize, use big targets. I even really like the taped up targets. This is an idea I got from Anthony D'Agostino. Shout out Anthony D'Agostino. I don't think he'll watch this video, but using taped up, actually shot up targets, because this is usually what you're going to see at matches. Don't be afraid to play around with your red dot settings as we delay the judgment of accuracy for speed, whatever that means to you. Just don't beat yourself up on accuracy or fundamentals. Like, you're going to have poor grip. You might drop the gun. That's part of it. You're getting better. If you could do it, you'd already be doing it. You can't do it, so you're learning how to do it. And you will be able to do it, or you'll quit. Those are your two options. You can either keep doing it or quit. And that's kind of my shtick on and I guess kind of the final thing I will leave you with. Once you get to the point where you have a bulletproof draw, I don't do very much. I don't actually I don't I couldn't tell you when outside this video the last time I just drew to a target. It's like I usually throw a transition in. So it's like my dry fire drill for draws is draw to a transition, draw to a transition. Sometimes it'll be draw to two transitions. That's what this practical shooting is. The draw is a very small part. It's a very important part. It's a very small part. The draw, sight picture, very important. So, do you have any questions? Leave it in the comments.